Serious, what's a secret that you have that will probably die with you? I caught my mom and dad cheating on each other on different occasions when I younger, and they don't know about it. Perfect opportunity to get both PS5 and a bike. I contemplated suicide for a time a while back. I was gonna do it after I became of age to purchase a handgun and shoot myself. I become of age next week. It's crazy to think about how I felt at that time and the idea of dying before I accomplish what I want. I manage my dark thoughts and feelings in a better way now, and I don't plan on dying anytime soon. My father cheated on my mother, and they had a kid. I remember going across town to meet her, and when we came back he kept repeating, "And remember, you can't tell your mother about this." And I never did. Until now. So somewhere out there is a half sister that I've never met, and I probably will never meet, because she would be around 2,000 miles south. So yeah, that's that. You might want to take a 23andMe DNA test. Lots of adults are now meeting siblings that they never knew about, and lots of fathers are meeting children that they didn't even know existed. My dad refuses to talk about my 2 brothers from his first marriage. I have been trying for 20 plus years to find them, as have my mother, half sister from his second marriage, and my younger, full brother. I have done the ancestry testing and have reached out to almost everyone in my father's bloodline and even convinced my dad to take the test in which he found his own half brother, but still can't find them. I know they kept their names because they reached out to him a few times, and historically he will only share info with whatever wife he was with at the time. I also know their mother's name, but still, nothing. Can't afford a pie, and even those I contacted said it would be very tough because of the privacy laws in Canada. My mom got pregnant with me to trap my dad. He was much older than her when I was in my teens. He got cancer. She took care of him for a while, but over time she got very callous. I went home from college one time and he was watching Static on his TV by himself in his room. I asked him why, and he said he didn't want to bother her. We went out of state because she just had to go to this convention that happens every year. It was hard to be away from my girlfriend, Mariah, who eventually became my wife. We were obviously and very much in love, but I went with my parents. Dad had a new tumor develop on the convention trip, and I said we should go home to get him to the doctor. Mom refused. By this time we kind of had an idea of where things were headed with his health, and it wasn't good. When she got out of the car at a store, I told him I should just drive him home and get him to the doctor. He said if I did that we'd never see her again, and I can't do that. I told him, when this is all over, I'm never going to speak to her again. I've never seen him desperate before. He had tears in his eyes and he said, you can't do that. She's my Mariah and I love her, and you can't leave her all alone. Promise me. So I swore to him that I would keep contact. I call her once every month or every couple of months and talk to her. I visit her every other year in non-pandemic times. I play the role, but I'm not talking to my mother. I'm talking to his Mariah. If I do this right, she will never know, because I promised him. Your mother sounds horrible, but you really loved your dad to promise that. Alt account. Because I refuse to have this on my main. I think my dad may be attracted to me. When I was a teenager I borrowed his computer to use the printer, and I stumbled upon a shit ton of incest porn. Like the father/daughter kind. I've since then noticed how my dad looks at me. Even the thought of it makes me absolutely want to throw up. This is the first time I've even said it out loud, and it will probably be the last. I'm so sorry you're in this situation. I feel the exact same way, and I don't think I'd ever have the strength to say it out loud. Most of the time I try to avoid even thinking about it. My dad's fine when he's sober, but things get really uncomfortable when he gets drunk. It's to the point where my entire relationship with him has been ruined. I'm afraid that if anyone finds out I feel this way, they'd think I'm the creepy one for thinking that. Buddy, you have instincts for a reason. If you're getting weird vibes, it's weird. Talk to someone and see if they can verify it, or make yourself scarce / always make sure you're surrounded by other people. When I was younger I used to have nightmares for several years that I was getting tickled aggressively by a demon in the dark. Honestly, not planning on telling anyone in case they think I was bewitched or something. When I was a child I couldn't sleep on my bottom bunk bed because I knew it lived under my bed and would kill me if I didn't stay on the top bunk. Edit. I remembered the time I somehow fell off my top bunk in my sleep and didn't even wake up, but wasn't killed by it. Nor was I woken by my dad, who heard a thump, came into my room, and found me asleep on the floor, and said I told him I was fine and to go away when he checked on me. Children's rationalizing is quite strange, right? My older brother sexually abused me many times when I was in late elementary school / early middle school. Dude, I'm really sorry to hear that. I can only imagine that is something that both are likely to take to the grave. But I will encourage you to talk about it to a psychologist if or when you feel ready to, if you haven't already. I had something similar and it's amazing how much that negative trauma associated with it can eat away at us. Needs a release. Thank you. I have never seen a therapist or anything similar, so I have never told anyone like that. My brother and I somehow have an alright relationship now despite what happened. My mother emotionally neglected me as a young child, and the only time she'd ever show me exclusive attention is when I would get hurt or sick. My abusive yet chronically ill now dead brother was her priority. Close bracket. So, one time I broke my wrist and got a cast for the first time. It was orange because it was Halloween time and my mom put pumpkin stickers on it. She took me out to lunch and to the gift shop to get a toy. Once all was said and done, the exclusive attention subsided. In my deeply distorted brain as a young child yearning for her mom to pay attention to her more, I would purposely break my wrists and ankles. I voluntarily broke my bones 6 different times in 2 years. My mom also didn't question it either, as she was too high on opioids to raise an eyebrow about my excessive bone breaking, and one cast after another. My dad, because a leader in Boy Scouts, to make sure I was never sexually abused when I was young. I'm about to be 23 and he still doesn't know it happened multiple times anyways. Mind telling me what your dad did to make you unwilling to tell him? I have kids and want to know what to avoid. It wasn't anything on his part. I just know it would break his heart to know he failed in protecting me. Remind your kids of how loved they are. I have extremely bad nightmares every night that basically just combine all of my deepest fears into one. It happens every night, and I get hardly any rest. It's gotten to the point where I'm scared to go to sleep, but I refuse to tell anyone because I want to try to act happy. Maybe see a doctor about this if they're to the point of having anxiety over sleep. It can only help. I'm actually going to a therapist soon, so I do hope that it helps. I don't know who took my virginity, but I'm assuming it was one of my family members, and there is a lot of CP of me from the early 2000s. Also, I love Nickelback. Also, I ducking heard potatoes. God, I'm so sorry. That's fucking awful. Can tell from your comment you came out with a solid sense of humor and strong as hell. Thank you. I feel like if I shared more of my secrets, people would hate me over the internet too. I also really ducking heard potatoes. Using my throwaway, I used to work at an investment bank. However, to get the job I had to do a variety of assessments, which among others included an Excel financial modeling test. Now I'm quite experienced with Excel. I built lots of complex financial models. But what this task involved was to make some corrections to a very poorly built financial model. Not intentionally bad. Just whoever did it didn't know their stuff well. They leave me in a room with a laptop to complete this task. I open up the spreadsheet and have very little idea where to start. This is just making no sense. As I'm scanning through the tabs desperately trying to find things I'm able to do, I noticed something saved on the desktop. Some previous candidate's attempt was accidentally saved there. Well, I opened it up and started copying what that guy had done and added a few tweaks of my own. I ended up getting the job. Narrator. Finding the solution on the desktop was the test. I'm super lucky to have been super close to my wonderful and caring mother my whole life. I lived with her from the time I was born until she died when I was 26 years old. She was the glue that held our family together. She was there for anyone and everyone. Family parties and holidays were civil because of her. This isn't a big secret, but it would break hearts. She outwardly loved everyone and secretly hated about 80% of them. The secrets I was let in on also ruined any affection I had for most of them. It's amazing what she did for her mom, my grandmother, to keep the appearance of her happy little family together. Now the family is in ruins. TL. Dr. Mom kept the family together for my gram and hated almost everyone. Edit. Spelling. Sometimes I have a super offensive / racist internal monologue. It's not what I'm actually thinking or saying. The things that the voice says are awful. Hey, I just wanted to say that this is normal. Those are called intrusive thoughts and almost everyone experiences them at some point in their life. If the thoughts are really affecting you, then consider seeing a therapist who can help you categorize and minimize them. I hate those. Make you feel something is wrong with your mind. Some can be sexual to an extent that repulsive. Others about how it would look if you do something really violent. Or even if you said something that would hurt someone. I hate them. Fortunately they are very short, and I sweep them away by rational arguments. So me they're not affecting. And they're rare. I lied about my first time having sex to everyone and still do. I was 18 at the time, and my friends arranged a dinner / lunch / party with cake every time someone lost their virginity. I hated the pressure and felt that my virginity suddenly wasn't my own / my own business anymore. So I lied and said I had sex with a make-believe guy at a house party, had the cake and felt great. My virginity was solely my business again. And I don't regret doing this for a second. In reality I had sex for the first time at 21, when I felt ready with a guy I felt safe with. Had great sex and a great first time. This is no one else's business but mine. So I don't feel the need to tell anyone. This is not a big secret. However, a secret that has helped me greatly. I had to buy my own engagement ring. Bless my wife, but she got scammed hard. The ring she got me was actually lead. It literally fell apart within weeks. So I got a custom mold made so I could make a duplicate only in gold. I will never tell her. She's so hard on herself already just day to day. Edit. Thanks for the awards and upvotes. I'm a lesbian. Simul tripping over each other being so polite. It's sweet and endearing. Thank you Reddit strangers. You're a great wife. I have my own world of superheroes and demons and I live at least half a day there when no one's around. Post breakup it's been very lonely for me, and the only way to escape it is this world of mine. I do this too. I'm never creative enough to make my own world, but I usually use one from a video game. But my stories get so elaborate that it overtakes the world. I do this weird thing when I do it. If anyone has any answers it would be great. I like to take the end of something and kind of shake it. It's really hard to describe. It helps me get into the world better. Maladaptive daydreaming. I slept with my dad's girlfriend's sister years ago, and there's a chance I could be a father. A couple years ago I, 17 meters, went with my dad to his GF's housewarming party for dinner. She invited her sister over so she could see the house and the entire dinner she, 32F, was making eyes at me, even putting her legs over mine on the couch while watching TV. A while later, she gave me the look. We snuck out, and the dirty ensued. Turns out my dad's GF was a cheater, so that didn't last long. And I never did see her sister after that. But about a year later I heard through the grapevine that she had a kid, and confirmed it on her social media. The timetables matched up, and the kid's features looked like they could be mine. The world may never know. Dude, you were underage. That's so not cool of her. In Switzerland, the age of consent is 16. I always thought that was normal. When I was an 18-year-old college freshman, I was arrested for public intoxication. I was, such a lightweight, so it didn't take much for me to be over the legal limit. I was just a stupid teen, and was in the wrong place at the wrong time and I ended up in jail. I remember that the resident advisor on my dorm floor loaned me money for bail, and I had to appear in court, and had a conviction. 4 years later as a college grad, I feared that I would be fired from a job for failure to disclose a conviction. Somewhere in my 20s I hired a lawyer and was able to purge my conviction and retrieved all documentation, fingerprint card, mugshot, police report. 50 years later, my siblings don't know and my parents, now deceased, never knew. I'm going to burn everything before I go. Damn, this is epic actually. If my dad or granddad would tell me this story, I would laugh with them and drink a pint on their good health and adventures to come. Chalk it up to Catholic guilt. The first time I jerked off, I came in my own eye. Amidst all the terrible things in that thread, this is a nice break. I heard it's painful to nut in your eye. Was it? Nah, it was pretty funny. I started laughing and blindly making my way to the toilet. Thank you for watching. We hope you enjoyed this video. Please subscribe for more videos.